again, and the pass is incomplete. It's lost. Pass underneath, and absolutely wide open as Boyd can catch and run. Burrow. Chase. 15 yards on 3rd and 12. They fake the run again. Pass is caught and spinning. Burrow. Little shove by Chase. Might be in the stadium, might not. Pass is caught by Tyler Boyd. Burrow. Pass caught. Out of it.
Take care of it here.
Burrow floats it. Chase downfield. Got him. Hit him in stride. And that... Burrow keeps. Flips. Uzomah. A move. And a touchdown. The 14. Toss to Mixon. Got a good block. Burrow and the hurdle. Good protection. Downfield. Catch is made. Extra man on the left. Pass underneath. Mixon comes back. Good run and drives for another first down. That's the offensive line. Gets it again. Burrow complete. First down inside the 10. And the Mixon kicks his way. And Mixon got it. Get back out of it. Flag on the play. Pass is caught. Uzomah. Touchdown. And it's 21, 5.5 to go. Burrow pulls it down, finds Boyd, first down. Get some action tonight. 8 catches, 111 yards. Here's Mixon, full-headed speed. Burrow to Thielen. Second down, pass caught. What a night for Uzomah. Uzomah. There he goes. Until now. Cincinnati wins it 24-21, and the rookie is hoisted for the second time in 4 weeks.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I don't know about you guys, but I want to run through a wall after watching that video. But thank you guys so much for being here. Welcome to Tigress Talk, the first and only Bengals show created by all women. So this lovely Sunday evening when the Bengals did not have to play, I have Miss Kayla from across the river with us, and Jerry from down in Tampa, who just recently got back to Tampa from her fabulous trip to Cincinnati. How are you feeling, Jerry? You a little jet lagged, or are you doing all right?
I'm still recovering. It was a long couple of days, and I think I'm still not going to be 100% until like midweek. Probably by the time the next game rolls around, and then I'm just going to be crazy again.
It was a very punishing week. I feel like there's a lot that happened. So how are you doing, Kayla?
Great. I mean, it does help when we win the game for recovery to go a little bit better. For me anyway. But
I totally agree. Well, let's get right into it. I really appreciate everybody's questions on Twitter that you posted. We are going to get to those here in just a second. But we obviously just saw some amazing highlights from the game. What were you guys' overall thoughts on the games? And I'm sorry we missed you guys last week. It was a short week, so we're doing both Steelers and Jags kind of all in one. So just over the past 2 weeks, give me your overarching opinion on where the Bengals are at right now and kind of what you're excited about.
well, those were two like super important wins. I mean, those were both like must-win games, and I'm thrilled that we won both of them. I think that if you would have said that we would be 3-1 at this point at the beginning of the season, I think that everyone would take that. So, but really, both sides of the ball looked pretty good in the Steelers game, obviously. The defense was not – we had a lot of people that were injured, but it was a little stressful during the Jacksonville game, but what a second half. So, overall, I'm thrilled.
I totally agree with you. It's funny about the record because if you had asked me at the beginning of the season, I would have predicted that we would have won in Chicago and lost in Pittsburgh. So,
Yep.
However it shakes out, I'm happy that we're 3-1.
Absolutely. Yeah, anytime we can beat the Steelers, obviously it's a great day. And that was a really good win. And the Jacksonville game the first half was very stressful. But I called it. I said the second half was going to feel like a completely different game, and it really did. I really wasn't as stressed out in the second half, and I think I could just, from seeing on like the Jumbotron Joe's face, I was like, oh, we're good, guys. We're good. Let's have fun.
Totally. And what's funny is rewatching things. We had some really good drives on that first half. Even just watching that highlight video, I'm watching these amazing catches and I'm like, wait, that still says 0. Like it still says 0 points. We had a lot of really good things happening on some really good drives that just didn't end with any points on the board. So I feel like on offense, at least, it felt a lot worse than it was. And, on defense, I felt like it was a little rough, not going to lie. But, listening to Coach talk on, I think it had to have been Friday morning, he basically said, there was a couple of missed things, like miscommunication, like missed tackle, kind of like assignment type things where the guys just weren't in position to make a good tackle on, and they ran the ball really well. They ran it a lot. And Trevor Lawrence, had some good runs, and he's a good athlete. And I feel like, being an Ohio State fan, regardless of what else transpired this weekend with Urban Meyer, I feel like Urban Meyer is a really good coach, and he really wants to win. And it is killing him right now. I can guarantee you it is killing him right now. They have not got a win yet. And I knew they were going to play us hard because I think a lot of people think of us as a team that crumbles or as a team that can't finish games. And so I feel like they went into this game thinking that they were going to win this game. And then the first half happened and they were like, we got this in the bag, no worries at all. And then we come out as our true selves. I think I tweeted out, that second half, that is our true selves, really. And that is what we're all about. So I'm really glad that people got to see that.
Absolutely. And I think it's always good, too. We have had the reputation for how long that we can't get it done in prime time. And I think everybody's saying now, like, this is not the same team that couldn't get it done in prime time. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're heading in a really good direction.
Yeah, somebody said, I forget who it was, they said, it used to be a team that could find a way to lose, and now it's a team that finds a way to win. And while I would love to dominate all 4 quarters of football, I think the important thing is that we're learning how to win. And that's another thing that Zach said, is that, we've now won 3 different games, 3 different ways. And that's important learning for these guys because we do have a very young team, especially on offense. So to have 3 wins in 3 different ways, learning how to win games, learning how to finish, I think is important. As much as I would love to dominate the whole game, all that really matters is in the end what you got in the win column. So
exactly.
But I did want to talk briefly about the O-line because, how incredible have they looked the past 2 games? They really, I think, have silenced a lot of negative doubter people saying, typical stuff. And 5 sacks in 5 games apiece is not great. But then when you think about the fact that they took 0 sacks against Pittsburgh and only 1 sack against Jacksonville, he's only got 11. I watched Baker Mayfield take 2 sacks today. He's got 11 now too. 3. So, 3. 3. So Baker Mayfield with the number 1 offensive line has more sacks than Joe Burrow does with our offensive line. So I feel like that right there really kind of silences a lot of the narrative. And, like you guys said, the primetime narrative, the winning on the road narrative, we're shutting them all down. It's a new day. And I'm really excited about everything that's been going on. And I think a lot of times too, like a lot in the beginning, Joe Burrow people were watching him saying, he doesn't look like his old self. He doesn't look as mobile. And I think over the past 2 weeks, he's really showed that he can be. And he ripped off a couple, at least one good run against Pittsburgh. And I think it came back for I think there was a flag on the play. But, he's running more. He's been more mobile in the pocket. And I really feel like he is getting more comfortable and getting, closer to 100%, in my opinion. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm so proud of Jackson Carman. I was so stressed going into Pittsburgh that he wouldn't be ready, and he's doing so well. I mean, I couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah, and I saw a tweet today. Somebody said something about how he hasn't been graded well, but I think that sometimes can be misleading, because you can be effective and do well and produce for your team without necessarily being graded well, because it's not always things that they can grade, I think. So, but
yeah, he's definitely been a pleasant surprise, which I had a feeling he was going to have a good game. So,
yeah. Who Day Place was electrifying Thursday night. It absolutely was.
Oh.
I can't wait to talk about that. That's going to be
yeah,
my electrifying background here. Hello, how's it going? Arrow says this team feels different. It does. It absolutely does. So, all right. Well, Jerry, what did you think about the atmosphere at the game on Thursday?
So I was at the first game too, and that was a crazy game. We were super loud, and I've been to other primetime games, but going into Thursday with like the opening, with everything they did with the lights and the fireworks, it almost felt like a brand new stadium to me, because it was a completely new experience. And if that was somebody's first game going to Paul Brown Stadium, I think they walked away extremely impressed with the pageantry of everything. I think the Bengals entrance looked better in prime time under the lights than it does during the day. I think it looks a little more dramatic. And the crowd was insane. But I tweeted today Cap's video, which I was cracking up because I really was screaming as loud as I possibly could. And so was everybody else. Like, just the videos, like those personal touches of like people that we know and we've seen forever in the jungle, it just makes it so much more special. So it was incredible. Yes, I'm so embarrassing, but I was laughing so hard. And I kept doing that the rest of the game. I'm pretty sure the people in front of me were super annoyed. But I think what's really important too, though, everybody was so loud, but people were starting to be really loud when we were on offense. And that's something I think we've got to remember, that we need to be a little more quiet when we're on the field for our guys to be able to hear. I know I had to.
That is literally my pet peeve.
Oh my gosh. I felt like I was a kindergarten teacher, because I was like, shh.
Oh, I was shushing everyone. I was like,
I'm like,
I was like,
quiet.
So angry. That makes me so angry.
I'm just like,
shut up.
It was so weird. Exactly.
Then now I'm yelling now. So.
And then somebody else tweeted a video from outside of the stadium with the crowd noise, and I again just had goosebumps watching it on TV. Had goosebumps because I knew we were loud, but I wasn't sure how it was going to sound over television. And sometimes I couldn't even hear the announcers because we were deafening at times. And that's going to be really crucial going forward. We need to keep that for every game, every home game going forward. And that can really kind of change the course of the game, and it gets the guys hyped, throws the other team off. So I was so proud of the city. We packed the stadium. I think we're showing that we're not just some little small market that doesn't know what we're doing. Like, they've invested a lot of money in a lot of things, and it shows the team is bought in, the front office bought in, and the city is buying in too. So I think it's gonna be really amazing these next few games, these next few years. It really makes me want to move back to Cincinnati.
Well, I personally think you should, but a little selfish on that. I realize that Florida is a much more hospitable climate in the winter months, but yeah. It's funny that you say that, Jerry, because it's so hard to tell the impact of like how loud you are when you're screaming your head off. Like you can almost only hear yourself. And so to hear the collective, like everybody, like all the videos that people have tweeted out, I'm just like, yes, it's working. You know what I mean? How did it sound up there where you were, Kayla? Was it?
Oh my
were you guys
gosh.
loud up there?
It was insane. Yeah, I was really proud that we were so full and so loud for television too, because this might be a lot of times the only Cincinnati game that some people are watching, and I think we did our city and our team proud.
Yeah, and I think
Absolutely.
about that too. So that's another reason why I hope a lot of people saw the second half, because I felt like, it wasn't really it wasn't really a good judge the first half. So, but Era says this was my first primetime game, and the couple behind me said it was the best night game they'd ever seen, and they've been going since the 80s. Oh my god, I love that.
That's awesome.
See my 80s shirt.
That's awesome.
Oh, I love that. That's so cute.
It says Super Bowl because that's my vibe right now. But,
exactly. Manifesting it.
Well, computer. Okay, yeah. So Optic Blast watched on his computer, and he said, sounded great. That's awesome. Oh, man. Yeah. That's really cool. I think a lot of people hate on our stadium, but I think it's getting better. But
yeah. I mean, if you were there on Thursday, I don't think you probably had a bad time. I think it was a pretty fun night for everyone.
Unless you were a Jags fan, then you probably didn't have a great time.
True. But I mean, everyone I saw was really respectful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So. Yeah.
And I didn't see a whole lot of Jags fans. Like, compared to the Minnesota game, which I felt like everybody from Minnesota was in my section, there was just a few here and there sprinkled in.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny. My one friend that's a Jags fan, he was like, don't worry, we always fall apart at the end of the game at halftime. I was like, well, I haven't seen it. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was a great experience. I also thought I had a lot of fun on Wednesday night. So
oh my gosh.
I had to work on Wednesday, and I literally, when I tell you I was this close to not going out, I was so close to not going out. I was like, I'm not going to go. Like, I took clothes just in case, but I was this close to not going out. And then Cap was at the barbecue, the Midwest Best Barbecue place with Zim and Ace. And he was like, oh yeah, just come over here for a little bit. And it's like, okay. And I was like, well, I kind of want to get down to Blind Pig because I knew Yaz and Jerry were going to be there. So we were like, oh, okay. And then we end up like raging all night. So
that was so much fun.
It was so good to meet so many people. I was so happy that I ended up going because that barbecue place was honestly the bomb. And I had never been to the Blind Pig either. I kept calling it the Flying Pig. It's not the Flying Pig, it's the Blind Pig, but I kept calling it the Blind Pig. It was a good time, and it was cool to see. I met a lot of people that I never met before in real life, so that was a lot of fun. So
were you there when Elizabeth was there?
No, I wasn't. I missed her. I was very sad about that. But you met her, right, Jerry?
When I first walked up, I looked over, and there she was, and I almost had a panic attack because I was like, oh my gosh, that's Elizabeth Blackburn. And I'm like, I need to get a drink first. And then I went over, she was talking to Jim. And so I went over to say hi to Jim, and Jim goes to introduce me. And before he introduces me, she goes, oh my God, you're Jerry. And I was just like, what? My soul left my body. And I just was like, oh my gosh, how do you know me? She was like, I know you from Twitter. And I'm like, I can die right now and it'll be okay. She was the sweetest human being. Her and Emily, I got to meet Emily too. They were just fantastic women. I fangirled so bad and told her just how amazing of a job she's doing, how much we all love her, how much we all appreciate everything she's doing for the team, how much just as a woman I look up to her being killing it in a male dominated field. I'm pretty sure just word vomit after word vomit, but she gave everybody the biggest hug. She talked to everybody like she was just a regular fan. And what other teams are you going to get that? That just was so special because it wasn't it was a Bengals sponsored event or anything like that. It was, just a fan meet and greet for the podcast. And I don't even think any of us knew she was going to be there. And
Yeah.
she really is just like another fan. And she was so excited to meet everybody too.
Oh my gosh, that's so incredible. I wish I could meet her, but then I also probably would embarrass myself if I met her because like she has been such an inspiration to me. And
Oh.
honestly, she's kind of what inspired me to do this show. Like I really didn't think I had a whole lot to say that anyone would really care about, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it because I feel like this is the time. Like we have so many powerful women in our franchise that I just felt so inspired. I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to do a show that's just women and we're going to talk about whatever we want to talk about. And maybe no one will listen, but I don't care. But you know what I really appreciated was so many people telling me that they watched the show, and I was like really touched by that. So thank you guys all so much for watching. It means a lot to me. I know it's not the best yet, but I'm trying to make it better and better. So I appreciate everyone hanging in there with me. But yeah. Jeff says, I was at the Vikings game and had a blast, but you all had the best experience Thursday night. Yes, I think the night games are just special. There's just something special about those. So,
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought I was flying pig. I've never heard of blind pigs in Cincinnati. I've heard of, pigs flying in Cincinnati, but okay. Glad I'm not alone there. Laura May says, new game day experiences they added this season looked even better Thursday night under lights. Yes, I totally agree. I know some people thought they were cheesy. Whitney, we hope you feel better, Whitney. I can't wait to talk to Whitney again and see what she thought of them on Thursday night. But yeah, the lights and I think the fireworks really kind of pulled it all together. So yeah, we're so glad Jerry got to meet Elizabeth. We're not jealous at all.
I called my dad when I got home that night, and we had a little bit of drinks, so I was like already a little emotional. But I called him, and when I was like trying to tell him, I started sobbing.
Okay, good.
He was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm just so happy." He's like, "You might want to go to sleep." But I've been telling everybody who here, like, I don't care. I will tell that story for the rest of my life because it was just such an amazing experience.
That is incredible. And Larry says, yes, so awesome, Jerry. We're so happy for Jerry. But no, seriously, one time I got to meet David Tennant, who is my Doctor Who idol, and I sobbed. I cried on him. Aww. Like, I was literally sobbing. So I am not good in those situations.
Me
very
either.
Starstruck. But anyway, let's go to some questions from Twitter. We appreciate all the awesome questions that people submitted to us. Charles Zard said, will PBS have a record-setting crowd this season? I don't know. It's funny. I was talking to Cap about this, and he was telling me that the blackout rules had changed, and that when they were having like the blackout thing where you had to sell out the stadium or else it couldn't be on TV. He said that there was sometimes they would have sold out crowds, but it wasn't like necessarily like butts in the seat crowds. So I think because of that, it might be hard to do, but I think for sure we will have the biggest crowds since like 2016, I think 2015, 2016. I feel like 16 is kind of when things started to go off the rails a little bit. And that's when the crowds kind of started to drop off. So I think this year we will have the biggest crowd since then. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean,
and I don't think that this is going to be the last one either. I think I have a good feeling that we might get flexed at some point for another primetime game. And if that happens, I'm 100% coming back. I don't care what I have to do. I will 100% be back for that.
Yeah. I might have to sleep at the stadium, like in my seat, and then get up and go to work.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Kayla?
No, I think especially if we keep winning, I mean, the city is so ready for wins. Like, once we started like coming back during that Jacksonville game, I mean, it was constant until like literally I was in my car. People were screaming "Who Dey!" like for like the whole time, and I parked in Kentucky.
Oh, you know what? I was stupid enough to think that I could get something to eat down in the banks. And I literally could not even walk. Like we couldn't even move. Like it was literally shoulder to shoulder people. And everybody was so excited. Everybody was so hyped. And except for one guy in a Blake Bortles shirt, I don't know what his problem was, but everybody else was having a great time. And I couldn't, it made me so happy because that is everything that I want. for this city is to feel the joy that I feel for this team, win or lose. And, it's a lot easier, obviously, when we're winning. But Greg says, Joe Burrow is obviously the biggest part of the Bengals organization, but right after him is definitely Elizabeth Blackburn. Is just totally rocking it with the organization. I totally agree, Greg. I could not agree more. So with Burrow, things feel so different. Yes, times 10. Yes, I totally agree.
Yep.
Palmer on steroids. So totally. Absolutely agree. And then let's see. Greg Luther on Twitter asked us, as of right now, with 4 games being played, what is your grade on the Bengals O-line? I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean, I don't know if we're talking letter grades, but I would say probably like a solid B plus at this point, because we have room to grow, to get better. But I think we're doing really well. I mean, 0 sacks, and I realize that Pittsburgh has some injuries, but to allow 0 sacks in Pittsburgh and to only allow 1 against the Jags, I think anybody would look at that and say, yes, the O-line is improving. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it depends like what we're grading. If we're grading against last year, it's an A. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
But the first 2 games, we were still trying to get chemistry with those guys, and I mean, there's still moments where it's like, oh well, but there's that way on every team. I mean, the O-lines are shaky around the league, like, so. But I think I'm really proud of our guys. They've really stepped up.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think they're working hard too to get better.
Oh, yeah. I think the most important thing, like we've been saying, is they're just getting better and better. And when it comes to making the playoffs and making it deep in the playoffs, it's the teams that just continue to get better and better as the season goes along are the ones that are successful. So the fact that we're going in the right direction and we're just getting better with every game is really a good sign.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. And then Larry says, great game. Great one for them, especially in prime time. Yes, absolutely. All right. And then Jeff, a.k.a. Strawberry Ice, our nice friend with his own show. Check his show out. Caps on it quite often. He says, with the Bengals starting 3-1, do you believe they have a shot at the playoffs? And when I read your question, Jeff, I'm not going to lie, my brain immediately went to that Joe Mora or whatever. He's like, playoffs. I feel like it's a little early to be talking about playoffs. But what's funny is that I couldn't remember who said that quote. And I wanted to know because I can't not know something. I have to Google everything or else it just bugs me. So I Googled that whole speech. And that whole speech where they call it the woulda, coulda, shoulda speech also. And he talks about how you win and lose sometimes by really small margins. And I was like, what, that's pretty accurate, I think, for this team, because in the past couple of years, we have lost by very small margins. I mean, if you look at last year alone, there were so many games that were decided by less than 7 points. Games that were decided by a field goal, games that were decided by, just 1 or 2 good plays away from winning that game, and we lost those games. This year, we're winning those games. So I feel like that was a good thing for me to go back and read through, because I really appreciated the fact that, it's hard to win in the NFL. It's hard. Yeah. All these guys are professionals. It's hard to eke out the win sometimes. And I really believe that any team can win against any other team. It doesn't matter if you just won the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter. I think a lot of teams have a chance to win any game, really. So, yes, why not us? I'm going to quote CJ Uzama, who had a very nice day on Thursday, I might add. Why not us? Well, I think we could win playoffs. We could go to playoffs. We could win playoffs. I really think so. What do you guys think?
I think if we can win this game with Green Bay on Sunday, we're going to be a very dangerous team, because we've already got like this swagger, and the guys are just jacked up right now with confidence. And anything Joe says, we all agree, like, we will run through a brick wall for him. And I can only imagine how his teammates, I'm sure they feel that way times 20. So if we can get through that, I think we are just going to be really hard to stop.
Yeah. And this Packers game is going to be tough. Like, yeah. I mean, I just got finished watching the Packers-Steelers game, and I'm like, I'm really happy that they beat the Steelers, first of all. But I'm also like, wow, they are very good. Their offense is just, ugh. But hopefully we get back from some injuries and can win this game. I think that if we continue to win and stay competitive, even when we are like losing, because we're gonna lose more. You know, I think that we definitely have a chance for the playoffs, and I definitely think people will start to take us more seriously and be more scared of us.
Yeah. Trey, Pac-Man Lewis says, I think with playoffs, these next 3 games will be very telling. Packers, Ravens, Browns. Yes, I totally agree. Yep. But that brings us, that's a good segue into our next question. Bry SW on Twitter asks, our schedule is a mixed bag coming up, a tough game against the Packers, then a game we should win against the Lions before we play the Ravens. Realistically, what do you think our record could be based on the games left? And I sort of am going to stick to my guns and say I think we can win all those games. I think they're 3 games that we have the ability to win. Now, I totally agree, Kayla. I think the Packers are a great team. I think Aaron Rodgers is a fantastic quarterback, even though he's lost the last 2 times he's come to Paul Brown Stadium. I will add that in there. But they are a very good team. And it's, but I think we're a very good team. I think we have the ability to beat anybody. So I think we could be 6-1 after those games. But they're obviously the Ravens are very good too. Lamar Jackson's a great quarterback. He's fantastic. So I don't know. Record prediction after these 3 games? What do you guys think?
I would be happy if we lose only 1 of the next 3. That would be my expectation. I hope that we meet it. So
Yeah,
I agree. I think it's important to win anytime we go up against somebody in our division. So hopefully that won't be the one that we lose. I am nervous for this coming Sunday, but I also have, I don't know, like just there's something in my heart that just says like we might be surprised on Sunday.
yeah.
Or maybe it's just me having wishful thinking and being super optimistic because I'm still like riding the high of the last, 2 wins that we had.
But it can be both. You can be super optimistic and have a lot of faith in the team, and we can be a very good team that's going to give them a run for their money. I think that that's likely, but we'll see.
Yeah. Optic says I feel more and more like we can compete with the Ravens at least and Browns. Yeah. Those games they're always close. The division games are tough. Everybody, we play our own division. Yes, Optic, that is a really good point. And I talked about this with Cap earlier today, and it's that we feel like we haven't even reached our potential yet. We have had really good moments. We've had really good quarters. We've had really good halves. We have not played a complete game yet up to our ability, in my opinion. So I feel like the sky is the limit because we haven't even seen what this team can do yet. So
I agree.
Plus, we haven't seen T. Higgins out there in 2 games. Like, he's a huge part of our offense. So,
yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope he's ready soon. I miss him.
Yeah.
But and then our final Twitter question was that Mary Raps asked, now that we had the opportunity to see how the other teams in our division are playing, which team is our biggest challenge to winning the division? I don't know.
I would say Baltimore. In my heart, I feel like Baltimore always gives us a run for our money.
That Browns D-line kind of scares me, though, to be honest with you. And they have the number 1 O-line in the league. So, yeah. I mean, I was watching Baker Mayfield today, just like literally just stand there like casually scanning the field. Like literally, he has all the time in the world. So I feel like they're at a huge advantage because of those things. And realistically, I mean, how many number 1 picks did they get? How many top 10 picks did they get in the past decade? It was bound to come together at some point. So I feel like the Browns are probably the biggest contender for the division winner this year, as much as I hate to say it, because I wish they would just go back to being irrelevant because their fans annoy me on Twitter because I feel like they have no right to act the way they do. But Maybe that's just me being bitter, but I do agree that the Ravens, I mean, Lamar Jackson, I feel like is a fantastic quarterback. I mean, say what you want about him running or whatever, but he is an amazing athlete, and I think that they definitely will give us a run for our money. And I honestly think that we have the toughest division in football. I really do, because I mean, I hope the Steelers get comfy cozy in the basement and they live there for a very long time, but realistically, in years past, it's been anybody for the number one spot. So the fact that we have we're doing very well, and then the Browns and the Ravens are also doing well. Greg Luther says, if I have to see one more Baker commercial, I'm going to lose it. And I totally agree with you. And I feel like not a lot of people agree with me on Twitter. People are like, oh, those are funny. And I'm like, no, they're not.
No.
I don't like them. I don't like his face.
Don't like it.
But again, sour grapes, probably. I'm a very competitive person. So
Same.
But alrighty. What else? Okay, Kayla, talk to us about injuries this week coming up.
Okay, so I have a quote from Zach Taylor about the injuries on our side. So he said, it's moving in a positive direction with every guy who's on the injury report right now. That's Cheeto, that's Joe Mixon, that's Xavier Suafilo, Jesse, and then T and Ricardo Allen. I think all those guys will have a chance. It just remains to be seen on Monday and Wednesday where all those guys are at. So that's encouraging.
Definitely.
So hopefully, I think that's all of our current injuries anyway, but the fact that they all have a chance, even if we get most of them back, it would be huge for us. And Trey Waynes just played, and he looked good. I mean, I was way high, but he looked good to me. Like, he looked like he was doing well and acclimating back to the game. It'd been a long time. What was it, like 19 games since he had played? Yeah. So I thought that I was pleasantly surprised. I thought there'd be more getting reacclimated, but he looked fine to me, and I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about Joe Mixon. I did not even realize that he was injured until the next morning. I didn't, for some reason, that escaped me. But so I have high hopes for him. Hopes for T, obviously. And Cheeto and Jesse, I really feel like they're just two guys, but I think it made a big difference not having them on Thursday on defense, especially that first half.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. So hopefully we get them back. And then Green Bay's was kind of hard because I was watching the game and I was trying to take notes, so I might have missed one that happened during the game. But MVS is on injured reserve. Darius Smith is on injured reserve. Those are both before that game happened. And then Jair Alexander was carted off during the Steelers game.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. I don't know if it was what kind of injury it is or how severe, but something to monitor as we get ready for this week.
Yeah. God, I hate injuries. I really do.
I know.
Hate them.
Especially when people get carted off. It's like your heart breaks for them.
Worst. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to our fashion spotlight. I was so excited to see all the people wearing Zubaz on Thursday. I think that was an idea that Zim had come up with, and I saw a lot of people wearing Zubaz, so I was very excited about that. I know I went to the pro shop one day last week and got me and Caps our Zubaz pants, and so I was wearing my Zubaz, and I was wearing my 14 that I made earlier in the week. So what were you guys wearing?
I was so mad that I forgot to pack mine, because I've got like 3 pairs for one, and of everything I forget to pack, it's that. But I had on a vintage Bengal shirt. It wasn't what I was going to wear originally, but what I ordered didn't come in time, and I didn't have time really to do a whole lot of shopping once I got in. And then just black ripped skinny jeans, and I had a satin orange bomber jacket from the 80s that said Bengals on it. And I was really disappointed that I didn't get to wear it more, because I was hoping it was going to be a little bit cooler, and it was hot again.
I think all the energy made it warm in there, because I packed a jacket, and I was seriously like, I should pack a jacket and a hoodie. And I was so glad I didn't, because I put my jacket on for like the last 5 minutes of the game. So It wasn't nearly as chilly as I thought it was going to be. So
No, not at
That
all.
just means you have to come up for another game when it's colder weather, Jerry.
I know. I'm trying to go to next week. It's like I was honestly looking at flights for next week. I'm like, okay, I can fly in Saturday night, fly back home early Monday morning, and still make it to work. And my husband's just like, you have a problem. Still trying to make it work, but we'll see.
yeah. What were you wearing, Kayla? I saw your Ring of Honor T-shirt.
Yep. I was wearing that, and then I had a hat that said Houday on it that I got from the pro shop, and I was wearing my my tiger print biker shorts, which was fun. I had come straight from work, so I was like,
No, you did not. Oh my gosh.
but it was fun. It was worth it. Yeah, I was like, I was so tired. I had been up with the baby the night before, and then I came straight from work, and then I was like, the first half I was like sitting there and I was just staring straight ahead. I was like, oh no, but then it was fine.
no.
So
Yeah, then you got your energy back.
then it was like brand new woman after that. So
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, I think a lot of people in Cincinnati worked on Thursday. I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. Optics says I was disappointed that the pro shop online didn't have Zubaz. Yes. Or out a decade ago. Yeah. They were hard to find online. I think they were sold out most places online. So we had to physically trek to the pro shop to get some. So they had a few left. So I was happy that we were able to get some, but I thought it was a fun theme. Then Jeff says, come up for the Steelers game, Jerry. Yes, I think you should do that.
I will actually be driving home the day before the Steelers game because we always drive up for Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right. Thanksgiving. Yeah.
I have to work that Monday because everybody else is off that day, so I can't take it off, or I would 1000% be there.
I always forget about things like holidays and families and stuff because, I work at the hospital and we're 24/7. And it's funny because they were like, okay, who's got to work the holidays? And I'll work. I told them, I said, I'll work any holiday. I don't care. I just need to be off the Sunday after Thanksgiving and the Sunday after Christmas. So I'll work Christmas Day. I don't care. I'll work Christmas Eve. I don't care. The Bengals are the only family I care about, really. So.
Aw. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was so excited about the games, and I was so excited that they sort of acknowledged the fans afterwards. Like Joe was talking about the fans and Zach was talking about the fans, and it was so awesome to me because I feel like we put our hearts and souls into our fandom and we love them so much, and to just have like an inkling of that they appreciate us and love us back, I think just makes everything that we do completely worthwhile. All the craziness we endure, leaving my house at 3:00 in the morning on Wednesday and getting home to my house at 2:00 in the morning on Thursday. Like literally, I was literally up for 24 hours because I went to the bar after work, and I was like, why am I doing this? This is so dumb. But it was so happy. Like, it just made me so happy. I loved to see everybody, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, honestly. So,
and I know
I've seen, that was really cool to see.
I've seen some tweets of some people like getting a little upset that we might have some bandwagon fans now. I think it's always a good thing when we have anybody jump on the bandwagon. Like, welcome. We've been here for a while, but glad that you finally came to your senses. There's plenty of room for all of us, and we need everybody to really jump on that bandwagon to make everybody believe that we really are the team that we've known that we can be for a really long time. It was just a matter of time for everybody else to see it.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Kayla?
We were all new fans at one point.
Exactly.
I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that we have a bandwagon that people want to jump on.
Yeah.
I love it. All the LSU fans, come on down, honey.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
And all those fans are so nice.
They are.
All of the LSU fans are so nice.
Absolutely.
Jerry, weren't you telling me that you met a bunch of LSU fans?
I did for the first game. I didn't really see many this game, but the first game I met a whole bunch of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I love them. I don't care. Jeff says, I live 5 hours away in Illinois. My son and I try to go to a warm and cold month game. Would love to be a season ticket holder, but that's a little rough with 5 hours away, especially if you're driving. I assume you're probably driving. So that's a far drive. But yeah, I think we definitely appreciated every voice that could yell on Thursday night. I thought was helpful. So I think it's good.
Absolutely.
I think it's funny though that they know now too that they have to do a hard count, because I noticed that I don't think they got any false starts. Jacksonville didn't. So I think they know now after watching the Vikings. I think people know now when they come to Paul Brown Stadium that's what they got to do.
Good.
gotta
Let them worry
adjust.
about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, make them work. Make them work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, on to Green Bay. 1 week from today, we'll be down in Paul Brown Stadium for Green Bay. I'm looking forward to that game. I think it's going to be our toughest opponent yet. Definitely our most worthy opponent yet. So it'll be a tough game, but I think it's possible to win. I think anything's possible. So we shall see. Kayla, I assume you will be there with your dad.
Yeah. My friend who is a Green Bay fan is actually coming up for it. So I think, yeah. So there'll be some rivalry, but it'll be fun.
So your friend that's a Green Bay fan, they live locally or they're
They
coming
live in
down?
Lexington. We went to college together.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
You know what? We before COVID, we were trying to go to one away game a year, and we ended up in Green Bay for what they call the Sauna Bowl, which was the hottest regular season game in Green Bay history. And we had such a good time with those fans. Those people were very, very nice. So I hope they're nice when they come to Paul Brown Stadium also.
He'll be behaved.
Yeah. Most of the fans we meet, I feel like, are pretty nice. So
yeah.
But all right. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for your time. I really appreciate everything. And thank you so much to everybody who tuned in live and everybody who's rewatching. I appreciate all of it. And don't forget to subscribe, because 500 subscribers, we got a totally awesome giveaway that we're going to do. So be sure and subscribe. Get yourself entered to win our fabulous prize. And I will see you guys when I see you. Jerry, I hope you get to come to the Green Bay game, but I realize that might not happen.
I will. There's a good chance I'll be at the 49ers Bengals game. So
Okay.
hopefully I'll be up for that. And then I'll also be at the Denver game in Denver. So,
In Denver, right? Yep.
So if anybody
Awesome.
wants to go to Denver, we'll be there.
Hey, might be a good time. We'll see. All right. Well, Hoo day, everybody. Thank you so much.
Hoo day.
Hoo day.